Hey guys, welcome to my den. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Chingo, which literally means friend in Korean. It's not my real name, but it's one of my so-called nicknames. Think of me as your friend who's helping you stay up to date with K-dramas as well as Korean movies. I love making commentaries, reviews, and explanation videos about dramas, movies, characters, and etc. Grab your snacks because today's tea is about to be hot, hot, hot. Squid Game is a new Netflix South Korean drama that came out last week, and all 9 episodes of the first season have been released. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the K-drama while sharing whether or not I think it's worth watching. I will then share some of my favorite scenes and what I liked or disliked about the K-drama and the characters. I will end with a segment where I explain the ending and give my own theories for a possible second season. I will also explain what the masks mean. Squid Game tells the story of 456 players who are given a chance to participate in a series of children's games in order to win over $30 million USD. Just like regular games, players are eliminated when they lose a game. The twist is that people are eliminated in a literal sense when they participate in the games, meaning they are killed. Each time someone dies, 100,000 won is added to the grand prize. I think this drama was worth watching because it kept me on the edge of my seat. I didn't know what to expect next. Personally, I love playing games, and so seeing grown adults playing fun games was entertaining. That being said, the fact that I knew what would happen to the people who messed up in the games was very scary. Nevertheless, it was great to watch. I recommend this drama to anyone who watched and loved Alice in Borderland or any other movies or shows where games are involved in a sinister way. This was a generic synopsis of the drama, along with my brief opinion on whether I think it's worth watching. If you haven't watched the drama yet and are planning on watching it soon, please be advised that the rest of this video will include spoilers. If you're still here, I'd like to say hi. Without further ado, let's get to it. We were quickly introduced to the main protagonist, Sung Ki-young, at the beginning of the drama. We eventually learned that he had to leave his old job when the company went under, and his wife asked for a divorce when Ki-young became unable to provide for their family. I think that Ki-young's mental health was deteriorating and that he felt inadequate after losing both his job and his family. This caused him to shelter himself under his mother's wing and not take responsibility for any of his actions. At first, I would think if only Ki-young went out to get a job, but the more I got to know him, I couldn't help but wish that he received help for his mental health. He is a hardworking, compassionate individual, and we got to see those sides of him as the drama progressed. Ki-young had a gambling addiction, and this was not good since his debt kept skyrocketing. As we know, addiction is a complex disease of the brain and mind, and so someone with that disease would require treatment. Although Ki-young knows that he is addicted to gambling, he continuously takes money out of his mother's account in order to bet on horses. Gambling and betting is a big part of this drama. People not only bet on horses, but also on human beings. I will elaborate more on this as we progress. While running away from some creditors, Ki-young meets a mysterious man who invites him to play a game of dakji in order to win money. The goal of dakji is to slap your piece of tile on the floor in order to flip your opponent's tile. Ki-young made a deal that each time that he lost, the man would slap him on the cheek. And although Ki-young's cheek was in pain, he kept playing until he finally won. In addition to the money, the man gives Ki-young a card that has a special invitation on it. There were 3 shapes on the card: a circle, a triangle, and a square. These shapes were not randomly selected, as they are the exact shapes used to draw the squid. I would talk more about their significance in the last segment. Ki-young was so interested that he ended up going to the designated pickup place. At the game location, he met 455 other players who, like him, have crippling debt. Among the people Ki-young met, there was Cho Sung-woo, his childhood friend, or Il-sam, a terminally ill 할아버지, Kang Se-byuk, a North Korean defector, Jung Dok-soo, a gangster, Han Min-yo, an alleged mother, I say alleged because that's what she says, Ali Abdur, a refugee seeking a better life for his family, Byung-ki, a doctor who lost his license and now spends his time helping people who sell organs. Last but not least, we have Ji-young, a girl who witnessed her mother's death at a young age and who later got revenge by killing the murderer, her father. I don't think anyone was placed in the game by coincidence. Plus, the fact that many of the players have met each other in the past further proves my point. The creator of the game got together people they knew wouldn't be able to live with each other in order to ensue chaos and make sure that the show was worth watching. Yes, I said show. Sure, people were dying, but the rich people were watching and betting on who would win while sipping their wine. The first game was red light, green light, and players watched with horror as people died left and right. During that game alone, 255 people lost their lives, and due to this, there was a vote and it was decided that the players could all go back home. Back at home, the situation did not get any better for the many people, and so many of them returned to the game despite the gruesome consequences. Alliances were formed and broken. It was sad to root for some characters and then watch them get betrayed and then die. The winner at the end was Gyeong, and I was not surprised at all because he is the main protagonist. I was simply surprised at who the antagonist was. I knew there was a reason as to why we never got to see the face of the game master, but I didn't know that the reason was because of this. By the way, Hong Jun-ho, a police officer, joined the game undercover as a guard in order to get information about his brother, who he thought was a participant like Gyeong. As it turns out, Junho's brother was the frontman, Hong Jun-mo, and the latter had previously played and won one of the previous competitions back in 2015. Okay, so now I will move on to what I liked and disliked about the game and the characters. I love the concept of having adults playing children's games and reminiscing on their childhood, but it was sad to see people dying. Gyeong was loving and loyal. I loved the fact that he helped people who were the least advantaged in the game. I hated when he betrayed the Haraboji in order to win the Pebbles game, but I understood why he did that. The thought of sacrificing yourself for someone is honestly easier said than done. Although I hated that scene, Gyeong sought forgiveness from Il-nam and asked for a fair game. Sung-woo, on the other hand, betrayed Ali by replacing the pebbles with rocks. I wish that Ali would have checked the pebbles before heading off, but that just proves how much he trusted Sung-woo. It's sad that his last thought before dying was how badly he was burned and betrayed by someone who he thought was a friend. I don't know about you guys, but it was hard to like Sung-woo. Sure, he's realistic, but he's very hypocritical and uses other people to his advantage. He went as far as saying that Ali owed him since he previously gave Ali bus fare. This was pure gaslighting. Near the end of the drama, Sung-woo seemed to have had a slight redemption arc, and I'm glad for him. I love Se-byuk and Ji-young's blossoming friendship. I wish they had had more time to get to know each other. They both died way too early. I love Se-byuk's resilience and tenacity. She did not give up until her very last breath. I loved that for her. Even then, she made sure to ask Gyeong to take care of her brother. Ji-young was selfless and loyal. This was demonstrated when she sacrificed herself for Se-byuk. Imagine, guys, someone literally sacrifices their life for someone they've only known for a few days. If that's not selfless, I don't know what is. Il-nam was very dear to my heart. At first, I found it weird just how happy he was when he played the games, despite seeing people dying, but I came to understand it as him having a last bit of fun before his inevitable death. Still, he showed various signs of a sociopath. By the way, guys, I really thought something was going to happen between Doksu and Minyo, and that they would both help each other have character development. Boy, was I wrong. These two got worse and more unlikable as time passed. That was honestly hard to watch, but it was bearable. I feel like their death can be parallel to Romeo and Juliet's death in a way. Both couples knew each other only for a couple of days, and yet they died together. The only difference being is that Doksu and Minyo's hate for each other was just as strong as Romeo and Juliet's love. If I had to pick a favorite character, it would be Ali, because he was the most relatable to me. As an immigrant myself, Ali's story of working hard to achieve a better life for his family was very inspiring and it hit home. I also just loved Ali's character and how loyal he was till the end. He tried really hard to survive with his friend. He even saved Gyeong in the first game despite not knowing him at the time. Ali, in my opinion, is an exemplary citizen. If only they had given him the immigration status that he needed. Although I didn't like Sung-woo much, the character I disliked the most is not him. It's actually the Dr. Byung-ki. There's a certain lack of care, disposition, and humaneness that you have to have in order to rip apart the bodies of the same people competing along your side. Like, that could literally be you. And yet you have no sympathy whatsoever. I did not like him at all. Plus, the fact that he was cheating was unfair. Not gonna lie, but I was not sad about his death whatsoever. Speaking about sadness, guys, it was so sad to witness the death of the married couple, especially the husband who hanged himself. I wonder what happened to their family and what the latter will do now that their providers are gone. It was hard to watch the people die, but I was still able to enjoy the drama, the relationships formed, and as well as the twist. I think that Squid Game was very realistic, and the writers, directors, production staff, and actors did a marvelous job. Here are a few fun facts. There are various cameos in the drama, Gong-yu being one of the most famous cameos as he was the mysterious man who played Dak-ji at the subway station. It was revealed that it took more than 10 years to make Squid Game a reality. Hwang Dong-hyuk, the writer-director, revealed that writing the episodes also took him a while. There were many moments where he almost gave up, but he continued till the end. As we learned in the K-drama, there are other countries doing similar competitions. I think that it would be interesting if they did a crossover with Alice in Borderland or other similar dramas and or shows. If you've made it this far, salute to you. I will now explain the ending of the drama, the meaning behind the mask, and give my own theories for a possible second season. The competition that the players were playing in is called Squid Game, and there have been numerous competitions like this in the past. The records that Juno found show that there were competitions even around 2007. The frontman had played in a competition back in 2015, and it's safe to assume that he won it and was thus able to become one of the game masters for Squid Game 2020. There are many clues pointing to the frontman being Juno's brother, such as him being worried when Juno was being with the old pervert, and also when the frontman made sure to advise his soldiers not to hurt Juno. Although I expected the frontman to be Junmo, I was pleasantly surprised that the person behind all these games was none other than the terminally ill Haraboji or Il-sam. He had created the game in order to have fun, just like he did in the past when he was younger. Now, remember how I mentioned him being sociopathic? Yeah, well, he's also a psychopath. How insane do you have to be to create a competition where people will literally die just so that you can have a last bit of fun? Somebody please explain this to me. Someone has to be very ill in order to do something like this. Now, I know that he has a tumor in his head, and so I'm genuinely curious if it's growing in the part of his brain that helps with decision making. If that wasn't bad enough, Il-sam also made sure to have rich people bet on the competitors with their money. He had the audacity to compare voting on people like voting on horses. Dude, at least the horses aren't getting killed. Wow, I lost absolute sympathy for the man. I love how in the end Il-sam was proven wrong when someone helped a homeless person on the street. Il-sam had resolved that no one would help the poor man, and yet someone did. That person went as far as seeking additional help. Il-sam was out here really thinking that everyone was just like him. Also, I don't know what's worse. Il-sam orchestrating this whole deadly game in order to have fun, or the frontman shooting his own brother just for a game. My gosh, they both need therapy. I wonder if the two are connected in a way beyond the game. Also, I think it was planned from the beginning to have Sung-woo and Gyeong as the last competitors. The Squid Game was something that was played exclusively in their town. And so for the game coordinators to know this, they would have known that the two would be the final duo. Yes, sure, the game could have been planned last minute, but if you guys remember, in the archives, the name of the game had already been chosen prior to everything. There was actually a time where I was suspicious about Il-sam, and it was when he was shot during his last game. He was quote-unquote killed, yet there was no blood splatter on the wall. I found that weird, but I didn't question it at the time. But now that we know the ending, it makes perfect sense. The invitation card itself was a clue that the last game would be the Squid Game, because all the shapes formed the squid, the square, the triangle, and the circle. These shapes were also used when it came to determining the ranks of the soldiers in the Squid Game. The rank followed the sequence that was on the invitation card. The circle was the lowest rank with no privilege, and the people with that rank had to do lowly tasks like picking up the dead bodies and cremating them. The triangle rank was a bit higher because they simply had to stand guard and shoot people who were eliminated. The last rank was the square, and the guards with that rank were very few as they were supervisors who had the right to speak. Just like the participants, the guards had rules that they had to follow. They couldn't speak without permissions or take off their mask. Forsaking any of those rules could lead to their death. There was a lot of death in the drama. And when one of the young guards took off his mask, it was a reminder that the guards were human just like the participants. In a way, the guards were also hanging on to their life, because life could be lost at any moment. And to see the guards shooting people as if they were just playing a game was crazy to me. This was just a game for them. Let this sink in, guys. People were losing their lives, but it was all simply a game for the organizers. That is so wild to me. Although Guillaume won the competition, he did not spend the money. Small interjection, but guys, money is truly powerful. When Guillaume went to the bank, he was dressed like a beggar who had not showered in a while. And yet, because he had a lot of money in the bank, the manager treated him like royalty. If he did not have any money, the manager would not have kept the same energy. Anyways, in the last scene, Guillaume decides that he will be going back to participate in the game. I think this is a hint to a possible second season. If there were a second season and Guillaume were to go, I don't think he would win because I doubt that the frontman knew that Guillaume would come back to the game. Then again, Gong Yu's character was at the train station at the exact same time that Guillaume was taking a train, so I wouldn't be surprised if none of those were coincidences. Guys, I think that Minyo and Doksu may be alive because I didn't see their bodies. Every time someone died, we saw their bodies, yet we didn't see theirs. Plus, the fact that Il-sum was never dead makes me wonder if there are other competitors who survived as well. What do you guys think? If there were a second season, it would be interesting to see a crossover between Squid Game and Alice in Borderland, and to see who the ultimate survivor would be. Plus, the fact that it was mentioned that other countries take part in similar competitions makes me wonder who the real boss is. I hope that more information will be revealed in the future. As of right now, Hong Dong-yeok does not have any plans for season 2, but we never know. If there were a season 2, what would you guys want to know? What do you think would happen? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments how you liked the drama if you've watched it. If you haven't watched the drama yet and have stuck with me until the end, what are you waiting for? You can find the drama on Drama Cool, Netflix, and other online websites. If you like this video and want to see more from me, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Many more K-drama and movie reviews are coming your way, so stay tuned. Feel free to give me some recommendations. I'm thinking of making an analysis video between Squid Game and Alice in Borderland. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. Take care, may God bless y'all, and until next time, bye!